He may very well have been a large trafficker, but not on the basis of the charges.
Correct.
You know, the same thing with this guy Suarez. You know, everyone's making him sound like he's cartel. Well, I actually pulled the papers on it. Suarez got knocked off for a 3-kilo deal. Like he met Meach in jail after a 3-kilo transaction. Like, again, Suarez isn't cartel, and he beat that trial. He beat that case at trial. 4 years later, he's under investigation for 1 pound of meth. 3 keys of coke, 1 pound of meth. Come on, man. These guys, look, they're traffickers. They're not cartel level operators. So when Cuffy says Meach was setting up Suarez, the government's not going to give Meach a time cut for a guy got caught with $57,000 in cash. That's absurd. Now, Meach's reputation has an intangible value in the tens of millions of dollars. To now undermine the commercial value of that property, there's a very good chance he's going to start seeing a lot of people in court. Remember, Meach is still in prison. What Meach did is he was hooking up Suarez, a small-time trafficker from California, who was an actual Mexican national, hooking him up with Cuffy. He can't say that today.
Right.
Not that he's going to get prosecuted because it was 13 years ago. He's still technically in federal prison. If he goes on publicly and says, hey, look, I wasn't setting the guy up, I was hooking up a dope deal, the BOP just pulls him right back into custody. They'll give him a 100-series shot, take away all his good time, take away his FSA year off, take away his extended halfway house placement. If he defends himself today, he gets himself back into prison for 2.5 years. Next January 27th, he gets released. On the 28th, he can hold a press conference and say, yes, I put together these guys to do a dope deal, and the Bureau can't take back the time. It vested. And I have no doubt that if Flannery's as smart as presumably he is, he's probably talking to intellectual property attorneys right now. Flannery was in the custody of the Bureau of Prisons in conjunction with an order issued by the judge. The only party that can agree to a third-party agreement on behalf of Meach would be the U.S. Attorney's Office in Detroit. So when she asks the DEA agent in Atlanta, he can't give her a yes or no answer. He had to buy for time. He got off the phone with her. He had to have called the Detroit people and say, hey, are you willing to give this guy Flannery time cut? We have a prospective cooperator. She expressed an interest in helping, but she wants to get him a reduction. Well, obviously, the U.S. Attorney's Office had to have said no. They're not going to give the biggest guy they ever prosecuted a time cut. There was nothing that Gotti could have gotten or nothing that Chapo could have done. Once you're at that level, you're not receiving any consideration. And so when the DEA agent contacts her back, now we don't know exactly what transpired between the DEA and the U.S. Attorney's Office, but we can infer it was a no because right after that, she enters into the agreement where she gets paid the $200,000. So the fact that she entered into an agreement where she was getting paid meant that her counter proposal
didn't work.
For about 30 pounds a kilo, but I gotta get more than one. Right.